e4, e5, knight f3, and in this position, Karpov plays the move knight f6. This move marks the beginning of the Petrov defense. Petrov is considered to be one of the most boring openings in chess. Why? Because often after Petrov is played, the games end in draws, and it is said that black plays the Petrov to copy white's moves and to just give him a headache. But the way Karpov plays this game with the black pieces shows you just crazy ideas in Petrov. And if you ever want to study the Petrov with the black pieces, if you ever plan on playing the opening with the black pieces, this is a game that you must absolutely study. You must absolutely know it. With the black pieces is playing Anatoly Karpov, and with white is playing Gata Kamsky. The game was played in 1996. Kamsky is a very strong grandmaster. I think in 1996 he was even amongst the top 10 players in the world. Kamsky plays the move d4. This is one of the main options to fight against the Petrov, striking in the center, to which Karpov gobbles the central pawn with knight e4. Now bishop d3 happens, hitting this knight. So Karpov defends it with the move d5. And now knight into e5, gobbling this pawn. Now once again the material balance is restored. Karpov challenges this central knight with the move knight d7. Knight into d7, gobbling the knight. Bishop d7, castle. And Karpov develops his bishop to d6. So this is a very symmetrical structure. What often happens in a symmetrical structure is that it's very hard to create any sort of imbalance. Whenever it's hard to create an imbalance, it's very hard for one side to get an advantage or to create an advantage, which is the reason why many games in the Petrov end in a draw. Kamsky plays the move knight to c3, developing the knight. And now in this position, Karpov thought for 42 minutes. It's not clear whether he forgot his preparation or whether he didn't know what to do in this position. But after a long thought, he decided to play a move queen h4. And this is a novelty. It was never played before until this game. So queen h4. The idea is there is a checkmate threat on h2 now with the bishop and the queen, and also this queen protects the knight. Now in this position, white has to defend it, so white plays g3. And now black gobbles this knight first, attacking the queen. White doesn't want to capture the queen because black can capture back the queen, and after white captures, white's structure is slightly ruined. There are these two weak pawns on the king side. White doesn't want that. So what white decides to do is white captures this pawn, and now Karpov's queen is attacked. Where does the queen go? Karpov decides to play the move queen to g4, offering a trade of queens. Kamsky decides to give a check. Now where will the king go? Karpov plays a crazy move. It's this move that makes this game super interesting. It's very surprising at first, but very beautiful, as you'll soon see as the game goes on. Pause the video and think, what do you think Karpov played? Alright, so before I reveal the move that Karpov played in the game, let me ask you guys for one small request. Please subscribe to my channel. Over 90% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribers. It really helps me when you subscribe. It really helps me to keep going. So please consider doing that. And also don't forget to smash the like button. Okay? Alright. So in the game, Karpov plays the move king to d8. Crazy. Okay? Generally, you are advised to not put your king in the middle of the board when there are queens present. Because when there are queens, it becomes easier to attack the enemy king. But Karpov just ignores that. Karpov just puts his king in the middle of the board. Of course, for Kamsky, it would not be wise to capture the queen and trade the queens. Because what that would do is that it would take the game into an endgame. And in the endgame, it's always good to have the king in the middle of the board. So capturing the queen is not, so trading the queens is not good. Which is why Kamsky plays the move bishop e2, avoiding the exchange of queens. Now the queen is attacked. The queen drops to f5. White plays the move rook b1, hitting at this b7 pawn. And Karpov plays the move b6, defending it. With the king in the middle, white should try to blow open the position. So with that spirit, white plays the move c4. Trying to open the position. The lesser pawns there are, let's say if white gets rid of these pawns and suddenly the queen is staring at the black king, black could be in some serious trouble. Karpov plays dc4. White captures with bishop into c4. One pawn is gone. And now in this position, Karpov plays the move rook e8. He brings his rook on the open file and challenges white's rook. If white captures this rook, Karpov can capture it with the king and his king will run away to safety. So to prevent the rook exchanges, white plays the move bishop to e3, puts his bishop in the middle. Okay, all white has to do now after this is somehow to start pushing this pawn to c5, of course after moving the bishop, and open up the position. The moment the position becomes opened up, this king is going to come under a huge attack, huge threats. And after bishop e3, Karpov plays the move bishop c6. And it's actually a good move because now black is threatening to go queen e4 and threaten checkmating ideas here. Okay, so white is like, no, we cannot allow this bishop to sit on this diagonal. So he plays the move d5. Karpov wanted white to play d5. Karpov wanted to provoke white to push his pawn. Now what Karpov does is he simply puts his bishop back on d7. And what this move does, is that it kind of makes it hard now for white to push c5, c4. Because whenever white will push c5, c4, c5, black, there is no longer a pawn that can capture back. Okay, like black is simply going to capture either with the bishop or either with this pawn. It's going to be much harder to break through black's position with c4, c5. White plays the move bishop f1. He wants to push c4, c5 very quickly. Karpov plays the move h6. The idea of this move is Karpov takes the square under control so that there is no check from g5 to threaten this king. Okay, and there is a very nice maneuver that Karpov has planned. And for that, it's important also to take control of this g5 square. We'll find that maneuver soon. So c4 was played in the game. Now what will you play with the black pieces? The rook is not in the game. The king is still stuck in the middle. But Karpov finds an exceptional way to coordinate his pieces. And this is where, you know, the genius of Karpov, you can really sense that. Karpov's ability to understand where his pieces should be, what are the right squares for his pieces, that really shines through here. So try to think, what did Karpov play? So Karpov plays the move rook e7. The idea of this move is that this king is gonna first of all get a escape route, and after the king goes here, this rook is gonna come to e8. That's the idea. It's crazy, right? Like beautiful, right? So beautiful. This rook comes all the way from h8 to e7, and now this king goes here, and this rook is gonna come. Oh my god. I like it when such things happen, you know. White plays the move bishop d3, hitting the queen. The queen drops back to f6, and white plays the move king g2. Now Karpov plays king e8, bishop c2, and in this position, yes, Karpov could go king f8, but he thinks that this king is kind of safe on e8, so let me just wait and let me try to attack this pawn once. So he plays the move queen to c3, attacking this pawn. White defends the c4 pawn with the move bishop b3, and black plays the move king f8. So nice. King d8, king f8. The king ran away. Rook c1, the queen is attacked. The queen runs away. Bishop c2 and rook a8. And all of Karpov's pieces have coordinated. This is a slightly better position for black. Like all of Karpov's pieces. Like look at this. This bishop is on a very nice diagonal. These rooks are beautifully placed on the only open file that there is on the board. This queen is very active. Meanwhile, white's pieces are just not participating enough in the game. This queen, this rook, not really doing much in the game. It's really crazy how Karpov does it. Queen d3 was played, and now there are these weak holes near the black king. So Karpov decides to put his bishop on g4. Now the threat is queen f3 and bishop h3. White has to defend against it. So white plays the move bishop d2. But bishop d2 turns out to be the decisive mistake in the game, and after this, white is completely lost. The better move here would have been to play f4. Black would have played bishop c5, trying to take control of the e file. Into c5, b into c5, takes. Black has a firm control of the e file. His rooks can come into the game. So this gives black some initiative in the position, but it's possible for white to defend this position. In the game, white plays the move bishop d2. And this is a mistake. Karpov plays the move rook to e2. And there is a threat to invade on f2 with the queen. White gobbles the rook and defends the f2 pawn with the move rook f1. Now what will you play? There is a very nice combination that black has that gives him a huge advantage. Find out. Pause the video and think. Did you find it? In the game, Karpov plays the move rook into d2. Smash that like button for Karpov. Now the point is, after queen takes d2, there is nobody to guard this f3 square. So the black queen comes on f3, gives a check, king goes back, and the bishop lands on h3, and there is a checkmate here. The only way for white to save is to play the move bishop e4, but then black gobbles the bishop, and after f3, black has two bishops. They can simply gobble this pawn, play bishop c5 check. It's just a very, very bad position for white, lost position for white. So because of that, after the move rook takes d2, Kamsky resigned and Karpov won a very beautiful game. And if you liked watching this, you'll also love watching one of the greatest endgames Karpov has played, and that too against none other than Garry Kasparov. Go check it out.